It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's
If you
good?
try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with left feet going. It's gonna hurt.
I got you.
If you try to run, we have canine on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir?
So the video of David being arrested has came out today, and they swarmed his house like he was one of the FBI 10 most wanted fugitives. Not only that, after months and months, I finally spoke with allegedly a parent of a victim of David. Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases of missing individuals or cases that need a bigger spotlight or cases that we have to try and find a fugitive and bring them to justice, because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I did it for 15 years after I committed some white collar crimes. I lived in different countries under different names, and I turned myself in. Now I own multiple companies. I have this YouTube channel, motivational speaker, and I try and help family members locate individuals or bring certain situations to the spotlight. Well, last night I was one of the first ones on YouTube to break you the information that David got arrested. Well, the video has came out today of the actual footage of him being arrested. Now, they did swarm his house, okay, with SWAT and sheriffs. They did swarm his house, battering ram. I mean, it was like he was one of the most wanted people on the FBI top 10 list is how they swarmed his house. They yelled at him to get out. And then they end up using a battering ram to knock down the gate that's in front of the house. Now, the house that was currently in is a rented house that's in, I believe it's Los Angeles Hills. A lot of celebrities live right down the street from this house where they got him at. So I know people down the street are like, what's going on? They probably didn't even realize David was staying, a few houses down. They probably didn't even realize that because he's been such, low key, just stayed to himself and in the house.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's good?
If you try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with left feet going. It's gonna hurt.
I got you.
If you try to run, we have canine on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir? Open the gate.
And, for those of you that don't know, David is the one, the famous singer where they found the 14-year-old girl's body dismembered in 2 separate bags in the front of his Tesla Model X. So just in case you don't know, that's who David is. I've made a lot of videos on this, so you can go back and peep my other videos about all the information that I've done on him, because I dug deep and gave a lot of information to the point where I even spoke to some people who live down the street from Celeste. Well, today I actually spoke with a parent of an alleged victim. All right. Well, I always knew that there was more victims of David, if you want to say maybe allegedly grooming them, things like that were underage minors. And I don't know the exact name of all of them. Even if I did, I wouldn't say it because, they're minors and I don't know if they're going to be going to court as witnesses with this and everything else. But I will tell you. So I spoke with a parent, all right, of one of them. They finally reached out to me. And what they told me was this. They said, which was very disturbing, okay? They said that their individual, their child, okay, never ran away or nothing like that, like Celeste did. But their child was associated with, I guess, a third party person, if you want to put it that way. A third party person at an event that David was at. Okay. Now they were there, and I guess the parent's child that I spoke to didn't know. They didn't know that that was David at the time. They didn't know. All right. So I guess they were talking, whatever else. And allegedly he invited her the next day to another party. Well, I guess they start talking online, and from there they started communicating a lot more. Now, at this time, the parent didn't know, anything about this or whatever, right? Now I promised I would keep their identity, quiet. I wouldn't say anything. I promised I wouldn't even say the age. I wouldn't say where they live at or anything like that. Now, the one thing the parent does want people to know is that there are people like this out there, okay? And what they'll do is they'll use their power, their fame, their fortune to try and get people like this who are vulnerable at that time, especially who are younger, young age, who think they know better, but they really don't know better. They think everybody's their friend sometimes. Well, the parent ended up finding out later on, I guess what was going on, and it pretty much put a stop to it. But when the parent went out to, I guess, try and tell somebody, like, authorities, they pretty much gave him the cold shoulder. They gave them the cold shoulder. They didn't really do much or anything like that or anything. So they couldn't really get into detail legal wise if they're going to be involved in this or not. So that's one thing they couldn't get into detail on. But they did want me to say that, just because somebody's in the spotlight does not mean that they're not capable of doing anything like this. And they said they think because their child, they don't have a lot of money. Their child, they couldn't. The same thing with Celeste. It was the exact same thing. If you looked up Celeste's background and where she was from, they didn't have a lot of money either. Okay. I don't think they weren't like broke where they had to, they didn't have food on the table. I don't know, but I know they didn't have a lot of money. So the same thing with this individual and their situation. They didn't have a lot of money either. And allegedly he saw that, and when he saw that, that was what, how he can lure them in. Hey, I can get you this. I can buy you. I can do this. I can do this. Hey, come with me over here. This is real fancy. You want to see my house? You've never seen a house like this before, have you? So things of that nature. And this all has taken place because you want to know, like, well, how old was he? He said this all has taken place about a year ago. So pretty much right when Celeste went missing from her house is when this happened with this individual. So it makes me wonder, when Celeste was at home, did David, threaten her like, hey, I got this other girl over here who's going to take your place or whatever it is, and then force Celeste to run away from home and then go be with David? Because he said it was exactly about a year ago. So it was about that time when Celeste went missing. So, and Celeste is not here to tell her side of the story. I wish, we all wish she was, right? But it makes me wonder, Is this why, she left? Well, she's left multiple times, but was he messing around with this other individual? And then, hey, Celeste, or Celeste found out about the other individual, was like, oh, I gotta go back and I guess get what's mine. I don't know. Don't know. Your guess is good as mine. But I wanted to tell you guys this because I told him I would tell you guys this. All right. Now, as far as David with charges, far as I know, the DA is still working on the charges of what to charge him exactly. Okay. The charges, as far as we know, did not come back from the grand jury. So there was a grand jury one for 5 months. So they didn't arrest him over the grand jury. So I don't know if they're keeping everything hush. I don't know if they're keeping everything quiet. I don't know if they're taking the FBI route, because FBI, they'll come arrest you and not make nothing. You won't hear, they won't tell us anything. So I don't know if they're trying to go that route, but I do know the DA officially so far, I know, has not, I guess, filed the charges, and and when they file, I guess we will find out. So I'm wondering, when they do file the charges, are they going to file anything PDF file related? Are they going to file anything PDF file related because she was a minor? The only thing is they probably would need witnesses, but they can charge a charge of, hey, she was missing, he was harboring her, and at his residence. So if they have proof for that, that's a charge right there. So we're going to find out. I will keep you guys updated, but I want to give you guys this information. So please like, subscribe when you get a chance. Not only that, hey, when you come across my video, hype it, please hype it. My videos be getting hyped so much, but please like, subscribe, help me get to 25,000 subscribers. We are almost there. I've been growing so fast. Thank you so much. Take care of one another. Love one another. Look out for your surroundings. Look out at your surroundings. Until next time, Fugitive TV, I'm out.